Now at 11, not a quick getaway. An iconic local barn missing its entire side. Now police are trying to find out who is responsible.
Proactive prevention. South Bend firefighters stepping in to protect you in case flames spark in your home.
And a happy ending. An Indiana veteran reunited tonight with her missing service dog. WSBT 22 News at 11 starts right now.
First, fast, accurate. With Todd Connor and Dane Murray. You're watching WSBT 22 News at 11.
First at 11 right now, for the second time in nearly 24 hours, police in Elkhart are investigating a shooting. Police found several shell casings and cars that were hit by gunfire near Prairie Street and Wagner Avenue. During the investigation, officers found out a gunshot victim walked into the hospital. That woman is expected to survive. At this point, no arrests have been made. Well, in just 5 years, changes are coming to two major local highways. The US 12 bridges over M51 and Niles were built more than 60 years ago.
Yeah, and they need to be replaced. MDOT wants to know how you think they should move forward on this. WSBT 22's DJ Manu is live in Niles. There are 5 possible solutions, DJ.
Yeah, starting in 2023, these bridges will be changed in some fashion. Parts literally falling off thanks to normal wear and tear, but also being hit by trucks. Here are the designs for each of the possible solutions. The bridges could be repaired, but have a stop sign after the ramp from US 12 to M51. Another option would be fix the ramps with a diamond interchange and remove the loop. The state could install a roundabout, have an indirect left turn, or install a regular intersection. The project manager says all the options could work. Many people say they'd prefer to keep things the same way and just fix the bridges. One plan they adamantly say no to is a roundabout.
I'm not a fan of roundabouts. I've seen a lot of road rage happen. Being Southwest Michigan, a lot of lake effect snow. Being a truck driver, it slows me down if I want to get around town and get out of town.
There is no plan that's currently a leader, but there'll be several more meetings where people can express their opinions before a decision is made in February. Although we are still 5 years away from the project starting, inspectors will be out here to be maintaining the bridge in case further problems arise between now and then. Live in Niles, DJ Manu, WSBT 22 News.
All right, we have an update now on this scary crash that happened right here behind me near Osceola. Police say they do not suspect drugs or alcohol. Investigators say a man on a motorcycle hit a front-end loader this morning at Jackson and Ash Roads. He was not wearing a helmet. At last check, he was in extremely critical condition. St. Joseph County owns the front-end loader. A crew was working on a ditch at the time of the crash.
Good news tonight out of Indianapolis. A Marine veteran's missing service dog is back with the owner. Police there were asking for help finding 2-year-old Wrigley after its owner's truck was stolen with the pup inside. The vehicle was found yesterday, but not the dog. Officials say Wrigley was found wandering on the city's southeast side.
All right, good evening. Here's a live look in Elkhart on top of the Elkhart Housing Authority. This is on the east side of town. It's camera provided to us by IT3 on top of their roof here. Beautiful shot of downtown. So thanks to IT3 and the Elkhart Housing Authority for that. In South Bend, courtesy of the St. Joseph Health System, it is a quiet night in our downtowns. Temperatures in the 50s for some of you, 59 Michigan City, but 66 in Stevensville, 67 in Syracuse. Another nice day tomorrow. Temperatures lower 80s. A mix of sun and clouds, but we are tracking rain, probably some healthy rain at that, coming our way in just a few minutes.
All right, Matt, thank you. We are learning brand new details tonight about President Trump's sit-down with Russian President Vladimir Putin. So far, much of the talk has been about what happened publicly during a media event. But tonight, in an exclusive interview with CBS News, the president talked about his conversations with Putin behind closed doors.
Things emerged out that were very important. Nuclear proliferation between Russia and the United States. That's 90% of the nuclear weapons. Protection of Israel. He feels good about that. I feel good about that, very good about that. That was a big factor. We talked about North Korea. He said he will help. He agrees with what I'm doing. He thinks I'm doing a great job with respect to North Korea. He said he would help. I think he will. Let's see what happens.
How do
you know, they have a lot of
You can see more of that exclusive interview with the president coming up tomorrow on CBS This Morning.
It's a proposal that would have split California into 3 separate states. New at 11, that measure will no longer be on the November ballot. The state Supreme Court issued the ruling today, saying many questions have been raised about the validity of the plan. Supporters argue the state has become ungovernable because of its current size, wealth disparities, and geographic diversity. 390,000 people. That's how many signed a petition to stop political parties from drawing voting district lines in Michigan.
Right now, the state Supreme Court is working to decide whether voters will have the chance to change the way those lines are drawn. Those against gerrymandering say political parties tilt the district to favor their party, but lawyers for the opponents say the plan is too complex and should not be on the November ballot. The 7 justices say they will decide soon who will make choices on redistricting changes.
I'm thankful, and I'm also grateful that our system works. Justice prevailed.
After nearly 2 decades, Ibrahim Parlak's deportation battle has ended. An immigration judge ruled that he can stay in Berrien County, his home for over 20 years. Parlak was accused by the Turkish government of being affiliated with a terrorist organization. The judge says sending him back would violate the UN's Convention Against Torture. He has a 21-year-old daughter and a restaurant in Berrien County. He says this community is his home.
A new lawsuit could soon be filed in the scandal involving Indiana Attorney General Curtis Hill. Lawyers for Hill say he wants to file a defamation suit. Hill was accused by several women of inappropriately touching and speaking to them. He denies those allegations and says he won't resign. His attorneys say they don't blame the accusers, but they say whoever included false information in a memo and leaked it needs to be held accountable.
We call on the political figures who put together this information in the memo to, 1, correct this memo that continues to contain this false and malicious information. 2, who is the individual who included this information in the memo? 3, and last, who leaked this false and malicious information?
Senate President Pro Tem David Long and House Speaker Brian Bosma released a statement saying Hill is the one who should be answering questions about allegations of inappropriate conduct.
New at 11, this iconic barn in Bourbon looks a little different tonight. The owners woke up to this side being completely gone. The side used to read "Chew Mail Pouch Tobacco." It has been well known in the area for years, but now the side with the advertisement is gone, and no one knows who did it.
It's heartbreaking, especially for my mom, because I know how much historical things mean to her. To have something so personal taken, it really hit her hard.
You know, the owners of the property are hoping to find out who stole those planks. If you have any information about this, call the Marshall County Sheriff's Department.
Happening right now, police need your help in finding the person who shot a 13-year-old in Elkhart. Police say the teen was shot earlier this month while lying on the couch in his home on Garfield Street. They say that teen is still in the hospital. At this point, no arrests have been made. Police now saying several people were outside and in the area when that shooting happened.
Tonight, a local women's shelter is back open thanks to the help from the community. Heminger House in Plymouth was forced to close recently due to money problems. The shelter houses women working to escape domestic violence situations. Staff has been able to get state and federal funding, but it was donations from the community that allowed the nonprofit to open again. And the shelter is hosting a fundraising event coming up in about 2 weeks. We have information on how you can attend on our WSBT 22 News app. New at 11, a deadly fire sparks local firefighters to check in on area homeowners.
Now, South Bend firefighters are going door to door to make sure people are prepared for a fire. WSBT 22's Heather Black joins us in the studio. And Heather, they are providing free items to help keep them safe.
Todd, smoke detectors are being installed throughout the LaSalle Park neighborhood. Now, dozens of firefighters knocked on doors along Bondfield Place and surrounding homes. They have a program that allows them to install 3 smoke detectors per home for free. One homeowner says checking smoke detectors can be easily forgotten. South Bend's fire chief says they're doing this because of the deadly fire that happened last week.
We know that when that type of an incident happens, Folks that live in the neighborhood are a little more sensitive to that type of issue. And so what we want to do is be able to address this while it's at the forefront of everyone's mind.
And the firefighters are expected to install several hundred detectors. Tomorrow, the group will be back out in that neighborhood to install more. And if you miss the free detectors, the chief says to contact the station so they can come out and install detectors while you're at home. Todd.
Heather, thank you. If you're working on a summer project, a big sale starts tomorrow in Warsaw, but it is a sad day for many as Ace Hardware is preparing to close its doors for good after 149 years. Owner Jim Mays says he can no longer compete with those big box stores, so he's decided to enjoy retirement with his wife. The store has been in his family since the 1950s.
We've kind of gone through whatever those 5 stages are of change. And yeah, we've been through sadness and we're not going to do this, and well, we have to do it, and realizing that it's really the only answer. It's the best answer for us.
The liquidation starts tomorrow and is expected to last around 7 weeks. The building itself is also up for sale or lease. Mays says his biggest fear is an empty storefront.
New at 11 tonight, the suspense is over. Those words from Mishawaka Mayor Dave Wood. Jesus Latin Grill and Tequila Bar is now officially open. It's sitting inside the old Century building that used to be home to the Carnegie Library. The new restaurant had to get approval from local and state leaders to renovate that space. Mayor Wood now says the old Carnegie never looked so good and that the new grill will be a destination. The owners of the grill also own Corn Dance Tavern and Evil Check Brewery. And Todd, some changes are coming to a popular Goshen restaurant as well.
Yeah, they are, Dane. You'll find these signs inside the Southside Soda Shop. The diner joining the nationwide movement to end the use of plastic straws. The restaurant said on Facebook, in an effort to accommodate all guests, it still carries straws that are 100% compostable. But if you want one, you will have to ask.
A new year and a new classroom. Some students in Elkhart will soon get to spend more of the school day outside. The Elkhart Education Foundation is building a learning garden at Monger Elementary School. The outdoor classroom will have seating, a dry erase board, and individual raised garden beds. The student council came up with the idea.
It was really important for them to get out of the classroom and be engaged in nature and grow things, and they're really excited about trying vegetables and eating them, things that they actually grew. My vision is that all classrooms will utilize this space.
The Education Foundation says it hopes to raise money to build learning gardens at all elementary schools in Elkhart.
Out with the old, in with the new. New at 11, Trine University will soon be moving into the building that once housed Brown Mackie College. That's according to our reporting partners at the South Bend Tribune. The university says the space on Douglas Road was attractive because it's extremely visible and accessible by public bus service. Trine is expected to be fully moved into the new space by the end of this week.
All right, listen to this. Thanks to an anonymous donor, dozens of medical students will go to school debt-free. New at 11 tonight, the $3 million gift was just given to the University of Houston. That money means all 30 students in the inaugural class at the university's new College of Medicine will have their tuition paid in full. How about that?
Some lucky students.
Seriously.
And a very nice person or benefactor out there. Right?
Absolutely. All right, it's a new way to spice up your summer. Coming up, see the bizarre new flavors from Lay's. You have to see to believe. Plus, a warning tonight for drivers. What 2 popular cars are being recalled because they could roll away, even in park.
All right, here's a live look in downtown. Again, no active weather tonight, but we are tracking the chance for rain beginning Friday, and a pretty good chance at that. Almanac data for today, 81 and 54. Relative to average, yeah, just a little bit cooler than normal. Your full forecast is coming up in about 5 minutes.
Now, your accurate first alert weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Matt Rudkin.
All right, here's a look at Mishawaka. All is quiet. You can see if you look closely, the flag is not blowing too much out there as the winds are starting to die down a little bit. This is our satellite and radar combination over the past 6 hours or so, and you can see some clouds ahead of our next weather maker. You got to zoom way out. It's in the plains right now. Big storms out that way. We're going to be fine tomorrow thanks to high pressure, but as this thing starts to move away, the thunderstorms get a little bit closer as we head towards the late week. It'll be here by Friday afternoon. 64 right now in South Bend, 67 Niles, 68 in Goshen, 59 already in Knox, 61 in LaPorte. Up in southwestern lower Michigan, you can see lots of temperatures now in the 60s, 64 in Hartford, 64 in Dowagiac, 68 in Union, 65 in Berrien Springs with a north wind. Pretty light, but if you're seeing a breeze, about 5 miles an hour or so. Dew point still in the 50s. It feels really nice. That's why air temperatures have fallen pretty quickly tonight. But we'll zoom out and you can see again, the higher the dew point, the more humid it feels. But humidity is moisture, right? Little water droplets floating around the atmosphere. That's why it feels so sticky. And that's what fuels systems to put down a lot of rain. The higher your number, the more potential moisture is out there for systems to work with. And that's not essentially bad news, right? We need rain. Ask any farmer. The crops are really stressed. Even if you have irrigation equipment, you need some water out there. Dew points upper 60s, low 70s, a healthy number for our next weather system. Here it is. It's out to our west. Counterclockwise winds around that are important because it goes down in the Gulf of Mexico and brings up additional moisture. So that's good. When you're on this side of a system, especially when it stalls out, you can pick up some serious rain. And I think we're going to see that. This is tomorrow evening. No problems. No rain yet. None tomorrow night, but as we get closer to Friday morning, that's when we'll get a few showers. By Friday afternoon, that's when the Gulf moisture picks up. We're going to have to watch this in the afternoon. We could see some serious rainfall and even some thunderstorms with this Friday afternoon. And because the soil's so dry, it's going to take a while for it to absorb all this moisture, so some flooding is not out of the question here. Friday evening, continued rain, and Saturday on and off showers, but not nearly as widespread as Friday. Latest model still pumps in 2 to 3 inches of rain. I think this is overdone, but the reason I wanted to show it to you is there's potential here for some serious rain. I'll show you some of the other models here. Again, from about 1 inch to 2+ inches on the latest runs here. You average that out, we're talking 1.5 to 2 inches of rain. That's a half month's worth of rain in just a couple of days. We need it, but you don't want too much at once. Otherwise, it just runs off and doesn't absorb into the soil. 56, mostly clear tonight. 82 tomorrow, mix of sun and clouds. The two fairs going on, LaGrange and Marshall counties. One last nice day with temperatures in the lower 80s. Next several days, rain on Friday, couple showers Saturday, a lingering shower on Sunday, but then we get lots of sunshine to kick off next week. Stay with us. Sports is up next.
This sports segment on WSBT 22 is sponsored by your Platinum Chevy dealers. Now, sports with Pete Byrne.
Ogumbawale for the win. Good! Enrique Ogumbawale wins the national championship for Notre Dame.
When you win the national championship, of course, your sport takes notice. But when you win like this, the way the Irish did, the whole world notices. Tonight, the entire Fighting Irish women's basketball team was in Hollywood, soaking up the moment as they were up for 3 ESPY awards. And Enrique Ogumbawale took one home, the ESPY for best play. And how could it be anything else, right? Enrique's championship-winning shot earns her an ESPY, and yet another memento of a weekend she'll never forget. She gave a shout-out to her teammates and coaches in her acceptance speech. Notre Dame was beaten out by the Minnesota Vikings in their playoff Hail Mary for best moment of the year. They were also up for best team, which went to the Houston Astros. Recently here on WSBT, I sat down with Muffet McGraw to relive the thrilling moments of that national championship game. Do you have a sense of what a great Final Four it was? Like, just how exciting?
It was the most exciting Final Four ever. Sure. I mean, just to see 2 games going into overtime, that's never happened before. And then the final game to be decided. You know, we've had 1 game in the Final Four at some point be decided by 1 point, but never this much excitement. And the crowd was phenomenal. And everybody across the country, I think, really was watching the game, even if they weren't basketball fans.
That was just a small segment of my one-on-one interview with Irish head coach Muffet McGraw. Over the past several days, you've seen us discuss the past, present, and future of her basketball team. You can watch the full 3-part conversation in its entirety right now on WSBT.com. The South Bend Cubs opened up a 6-game road trip tonight in the Quad Cities, falling to the Bandits 2-1. They wasted a good outing from pitcher Erling Moreno, who threw 6 innings and only allowed 2 runs. The Cubs dropped to 13-13 in the second half of the season. Well, in just a few hours, the oldest tournament in golf will tee off from Scotland when the 147th Open Championship begins at Carnoustie. So much attention this week has been given to the course conditions. The golf course is so dry, the players are saying that the fairways are actually harder than the greens. And Tiger Woods calls it the toughest test he's ever seen. Notre Dame golf coach Scott Gump played in the 1999 Open Championship here at Carnoustie. The cut was 12 over par that year. I spoke to Gump yesterday about this golf course, and he tells me the conditions these players will face at Carnoustie are every bit as difficult as advertised.
We measured on that par 5 hole, the fairway, I believe, was 12 yards wide. And the hay I'm sitting in right now, that was on both sides of the fairways. So, and it's like if anybody's played golf where there's out of bounds on both sides, at first you're like, oh, I'm fine. And then after a while, you hit a couple OB, it gets to you. I know Sergio was crying when he was done, after he missed the cut. I wasn't crying, but I was very respectful of the challenge. It is a beast. It is the real deal. And whoever wins here will know they've earned it.
Thanks. No one wants to hear about the golf course they're about to play. It's a beast.
Yeah, right?
Seriously.
By the way, they tee off at 1:30 in the morning, so if you're not feeling like falling asleep, there's golf on. There you go.
Good to know. All right, Pete, thanks. Matt's coming up next.
All right, temperatures in the 80s tomorrow. Showers and storms likely Friday. Some of those could be on the strong side with heavy rain, which is not necessarily bad news. Drying off as we head towards next week.
Finally going to get some much needed rain. Like that.
Very much. If it's too heavy, though, then it just runs off. So we
Don't
need
want that
slower
either.
rain that kind of absorbs in.
Okay.
Fingers
All right.
crossed.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a great night.